Good afternoon all. So here we go. There's some news from France. I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about what we've been up to in the past year or two. So my name is Yannig Robert, and I'm a member of the RFCP board, and I've just been nominated like 2 weeks ago as the point of contact for European partners. So if you if you need to, you can email me at the address which is below. So brief reminder for those who don't know well the Réseau français de la construction paille. So the organization was created in 2006, and this was at the time the aim was to promote the construction of straw bale building, because we knew it there, and I guess everybody here know it. That's a very good way to create sustainable buildings. And after some very soon it was, people realized that what they really needed was some kind of construction rules so that it would become easier to build a straw bale building, because at the time they were hitting all kind of problem, because this was a non-standard way of building. So insurers and people, control engineers, and all these people were having a lot of doubt about it, and it was incredibly difficult. So in 2011, managed to publish the Règles professionnelles de la construction paille, which are basically a set of rules telling you how you can build and design in straw, and was recognized by a French government agency in charge of construction product. And then it transformed the straw bale construction into what is called here like an ordinary construction technique. So basically just means that from a regulation point of view, it's like using concrete block, easy to insure, and people can say, oh, this is non-standard, you need to prove everything. They say, no, it's all right, I'm following the rules, so you have to accept this way of building. And then the RFCP is in charge of coordinating training to these rules, which was very important for the people in charge of the rules, that people actually adhere to it. So the RFCP is like a non-profit organization with some members, and as such we got membership which has been rising at a steady state in the past year. So for a long time, we were about like 200 members, and then a big efforts been done since 2017 to increase this, and we've tripled it, which was an absolutely great thing. So we are nearly 700 now, and half of these people, they are companies, so active economic actors who are saying, okay, we support you, which is really, really important to us. And it so means that the RFCP, when we start talking to officials, we can say we represent a lot of economic actors. So training is a big part of the activity of RFCP. It's so that in 2012, when been published the rules. This is when we started to do a lot of training. And so the RFCP is not doing the actual training. What you need to understand is that the RFCP is just written materials that's been used by certified trainers. So in 2012 we're doing 95. We had 95 trainees, and then it rose to more than 500. I don't have the actual number in 2019. Then a big thing hit everybody in the world. I think it's called COVID. So it went down in 2020 to 485, and in 2021 at the moment with 186. But obviously the graph is a bit misleading because that's not the whole year, as obviously we are still in 2021. So since the beginning, that's 2,727 people who've been trained to use these rules. The success rate is fantastic, 91%. So obviously the aim is that when people start the training, they get to the end. There are 61 people who are trainers, independent people. And now that's very important. This training is part of some long training scheme. So, for instance, people who want to become eco-construction workers, people who are about to work in design offices, whether it's it's for more on the building side of things, or more on before for architects, etc. So that's positive. So French market, we don't have like precise figures, but we've got some, but in local areas. So we need to do some extrapolation. But we think about in 2020 about 800 straw bale buildings insulated with straw bales were built. So that's plus or minus 100. We estimate that's about 11,000 tons of straw that's been included in walls. On the turnover for the farmers is about 2.5 million, about again. And that's translated in about 300,000 square meters of walls. That's a big number. I struggle to picture it. Or about 50 million euros turnover for builders. And this turnover is not the actual building, that's just the walls, and the wall before any finishings being applied. So another metric which is quite interesting is to see how many books, standards of the rules being sold. So that's the cumulative number. So on this date, like 8,377 standards of books have been sold. You can see the small graph at the bottom right that shows the how many per annum, and you can see big variation. On the explanation behind this is that there have been several editions of the book. On the third edition, which was in 2018, was quite an important one, with some extra material added at the end. So a lot of people just bought them again to stay up to date. The rules don't include the external insulation, so it's not yet part of the straw bales regulation. There have been unsuccessful attempts to include them, and basically, I think we think that it's becoming harder now. So we're not quite sure why. I mean, some people have guesses. I'll let you get, but it's harder than it was to get these kind of rules accepted. Nevertheless, there have been pilot schemes on including a tall building in Paris, which people have been talking about, which is quite positive, obviously. I know we've thanks to some lobbying that's been going on, we see public tenders when strong environmental performances are required. So it can be vague. The phrasing can be vague, and sometimes the phrasing is, straw bale building. And since 2018, the RFCP has been compiling these public tenders, and they communicate, and it's communicated to our members. And so we've been doing some. Gabriel, who is in charge of doing it, to be precise, been doing some statistics, and you can see that so it's not very long, starting 2018 to it's just 3 years, but still you can see like a upward trend, and like a non-negligible part of it, this stands as a mentioned straw. So it's all up, going up on positive. And then last year, with it was the birthday of the Maison Feuillette, so now it's 100 years old. So we can say that there is a century-old house insulated in straw. So we've started explaining to us that it's all new on not people we don't have a feedback on. We can say no, we've got feedback. He's got a 100-year-old example. Oh no, it's time for some gratuitous pictures of buildings. So that is social housing. So I wasn't involved in this one, so I can't tell in detail. This is housing for elder people, so it's a medicalized unit. That's quite becoming more and more common in France. So that people have realized that the air quality is important, and they're starting to use natural materials, as we all know that not including a lot of solvent in your house is the best way to ensure the best air quality. Offices, that's quite a big one. So all insulated in straw. This one is a social housing on the urban farm in Paris. So it's again big work. This is a school in eastern Paris, in Montreuil. So this was a request. By the local authority. And these were just a few examples. So they've been, it's very diverse. Lot of people are realizing that straw is an interesting material for lot of cases. So there have been individual dwellings, collective housings, office buildings, retail buildings, nurseries, schools, leisure buildings, industrial and agricultural buildings, all sizes. It starts from a single family unit up to 5,000 square meters and up to 7 stories. So basically, it just works. And merci beaucoup for listening to me.